What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Game Time Live. We are coming to you on a beautiful Sunday, March 8th, 2026. And if you're a Boston Celtics fan, the flowers are blooming, the birds are chirping, you're skipping through daisy fields. We're going to be talking about the Boston Celtics here today and the return of Robin, as Daryl likes to call him now. We're going to be talking about that today. We're going to be talking about some NFL news. Maxx Crosby is a Baltimore Raven. We'll be hitting on that. Should Miami of Ohio be in the March Madness tournament? Well, of course they should. We're going to explain that today as well, and why this shouldn't even be a conversation later on in the show. We've got a lot to talk about, and we've got the return of the coach. Coach Ramon is back for the show. It is great to have Coach Ramon here today, back on the show. Great to have Ramon back. We're going to start off strong with some NBA talk, and we're going to start off with Jayson Tatum returning to the Boston Celtics. He got injured in Game 6 against New York. You know, a normal ACL recovery is about 9 to 12 months, more like 12 months, and he comes back in a matter of 10 months, ready to go. It's important to note, I believe him, Damian Lillard, and Tyrese Halliburton all saw the same surgeon for their Achilles surgeries. So, you know, and you look at the way Tatum played a couple of nights ago. You know, if you're a Pacers fan, which, you know, we're all somewhat Pacer fans in here. Obviously, Daryl's the season ticket holder. I think this does spell good for Tyrese. I think Tatum looked pretty good. Obviously, you know, probably a little bit of a step behind, but I think, you know, that's going to happen when you haven't played basketball in 10 months. So I like how Tatum looked. I have been saying it, you know, for a while. I thought Tatum would come back either at the playoffs or before the playoffs. And I've been saying, you know, credit to Daryl. He said Boston was going to stay afloat. I didn't really believe it. But I have been saying it for the last couple of weeks with Tatum coming back. I think I've got Boston coming out of the East at this point in time right now. I would probably say my rankings in the East is Boston, Detroit, New York, Cleveland, and then Toronto is kind of my order right now. And even for Toronto, we've been really low on Orlando recently, Daryl, but they are one game back on the Raptors for fifth. So Magic is starting to find their way. Raptors are on a 2-game losing streak. Magic are on a 3-game winning streak. So we'll talk about that later on when we get into the standings. But your guys' thoughts on Tatum coming back and what this means for Boston out in the Eastern Conference. And Daryl, I'll let you go first.
I think it's great, man. I think it's great that you got your second best player back in the fold. Obviously, Jalen took care of business and with the support of his teammates for the first 60 games or so, kept them afloat. Adding a guy like Tatum, think about these teams that made trades in the trade deadline. Hey, this is the best addition of any team this winter, right? So yeah. I think the Boston Celtics put themselves in position to be successful. They're 3.5 back from Detroit right now. And again, talk about staying afloat, right? They potentially could overtake Detroit for the Eastern Conference best record. Detroit has lost 3 in a row. They're a little bit on a rough spot right now. But with that said, I think still that the Detroit Pistons are going to come out of the East. I've said it from day one. I'm going to stay consistent with that. Teams have, losing streaks. They have these pitfalls during the season, and they're in the pitfall right now. But congratulations to Boston. I think they are definitely put themselves at worst case the second best team in the East, and it's going to be a hell of a ride these last 15 to 20 games.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Ramon, welcome back. What are your thoughts on Tatum coming back to the Celtics? How do you feel about the Celtics out East right now?
Well, I got a couple different thoughts in that. One's going to be team thought, one's going to be performance thought, and one's going to be physical ability thought, right? So, Kai, exactly right. Adding Tatum back to the fold is nothing but a plus. Best trade, non-trade that you can have. You added a piece, and money was already on the books. enhances performance of the team, gives you an additional threat offensively. I mean, all positives. All right. Then he came back and skill wise, he didn't look too rusty.
Mm-hmm.
He looked pretty crisp, man. Decisions were pretty decent. Shot fell, crashed the boards a little bit. So all of that's a positive and looked real good. Then I watched his functional movement, and I may be missing something, but it looked like it was a little limp there.
Yeah.
I noticed a couple times on some dunks, he made sure he landed on one foot, the opposite of the Achilles that was torn. I don't know if that heel elevation was extremely high on some of the push-offs when he's getting to the basket. I try to continue to look at it a couple of different times. Step back on the left side in the corner. He didn't really drive off that Achilles foot when he did step back to create space. So I wonder how healthy he is, and I hope that, they monitor it the right way where he doesn't overwork it or compensate too much and hurt the other side, whether the other knee goes out or Achilles or some kind of lower extremity injury. So team-wise, phenomenal move, upgrade, or addition. He looked good skill-wise. Just worried about his health.
Yeah, and I think that's the big thing. Daryl, I think one thing we talked about when Tatum came back, right, was is he going to disrupt the flow of how this Celtics team played? I think the biggest thing that popped out to me was how well he facilitated the ball that night against Dallas. That's something we talked about. Is he going to come in and try to score a lot, or how is he going to come back into the full? And obviously, this is one game, right? And he's, he's not rusty, but you can still see, as Ramon just said, a little step behind, not too confident on the foot yet, but it's a mental thing. I think obviously when he gets more comfortable, he'll probably take a couple more shots, probably be a little more ball dominant. But he looked well facilitating the ball against Dallas on what was it? I think Friday night. So what are your thoughts on that? We talked about that a good amount as we kind of both saw this coming, Tatum coming back. Wasn't too ball dominant. I think he had 12 assists too in that one. What are your thoughts on that, especially as someone that very supportive of Jaylen Brown and everything else? You're muted. There you go. Go ahead.
I muted myself because I want to be. I heard there was some noise. I want to mess you up.
No, you're all good.
So what I like the fact is the humility, right? Of saying, listen, this is my first game back. I'm not trying to do too much. And he should have, had high assists, right? Getting guys and helping getting guys involved, because there's a time frame in which he's got to reinvent himself into the team, right? And when you got such a good player, it shouldn't be very hard. But I would say, 10 games or so to get his win right. Yeah, I know he's been working out a lot in 5-on-5, but it's different when you're going against guys that don't give a damn about you. You're going to go to the bucket and the guy falls on you. He's not going to pick you up. He's not going to be careful when he comes around you. He's going to treat you like, you treat anybody else. I did like that as well too. The thing about Boston is this, right? Will there be a point in time where Tatum says, I've got to let it all rip? Like Ramon just said, when you're sitting there coming back from an injury of 290 days or you tore your Achilles, between his ears, it's still there. That sleeve on his leg is still there. Everyone's talking about that still in the media and everywhere else. And when you go up for a dunk and to Ramon's point, come down on one foot, that could potentially put you in a situation where you overcompensate. Mm-hmm. So at some point, he's going to have to let it rip, right? Meaning, like, I never hurt myself and see what happens if he's going to come in at this point. That's my thought, with regard to Tatum. And again, he looked good. He looked, he was nervous. That first half, he was very nervous. You could tell he was nervous, but I'd be nervous too coming out, 290 days after tearing my Achilles, my home crowd, and a lot of people feeling like, this is a start of a title run. So, yeah. So I like what I saw with Boston in every way, shape, and form.
No, I do too. And I'm very confident that the Celtics probably come out of the East. This isn't to say I don't like Detroit. I've had a lot of people ask me, why are you not high on Detroit? It's not that I'm not high on Detroit. My partner has spoken very highly of Detroit. I have spoken very highly of Detroit. We both kind of saw this coming in the offseason, right? We thought either Orlando or Detroit. One of them's going to, we thought both of them would be at the top of the East, but, guaranteed one of them. And Detroit's is the team at the top of the East. It's not to say that I don't think Detroit can come out of the East. We're going to see, right? They're the number one seed. Yeah. I think this is an example of a little bit of like Oklahoma City last year. You were in the playoffs 2 years ago at this point. Well, last year, I'll say for Detroit. Now you've got a second year. You look at Oklahoma City. They were that first year they were in, they were the number one seed, but then got knocked out. They come back the next year and win the championship. I could be completely wrong about Detroit, but I do have Detroit slotted at number 2, but I don't have them that far behind Boston. I just like Boston a little bit more. I think New York is close. But once again, I go back to the point. I think if New York's going to win a title, it's got to be this year because it's not going to happen next year. Because I think it's only going to get worse for you when it's New York. You've got so many other teams that are trying to make a jump. Indiana's going to be back next year. The Hornets, I think, will have a better record next year and are going to be competing for a top 5 spot in the East next year. Wizards are a question mark, but they're going to be more competitive than they were this year, right? So somebody's going to fall next year. I'm not saying it's New York. I'm not saying it's Cleveland, but I think out of all the teams you look at in this window of the top 6 in the East, I think right now Cleveland, New York, and maybe even Toronto to an extent, those 3 teams right there, I'd be a little worried about next year because you got teams underneath you, Orlando, Charlotte, Washington. You got some Indiana who's going to clearly be at the top of the East. You got 4 teams right there that are going to be gunning for the spots that those 3 teams are sitting in right now.
Yeah, good point. Good point. I'll defer to Ramon on that because I have some thoughts on it, but mine may run a little long, so I'll give Ramon an opportunity on this one.
I'll be very short. I only think the Pacers are going to be gunning for those top spots. I will never
by a top. Go ahead.
I will never, ever say that Washington will be gunning for anything. Y'all forget.
No, we didn't practice this. We didn't practice this, by the way.
I believe in Washington. So to believe they'll be in that top 10 possibility, I don't think they will ever be there. So I think the Pacers. I think whatever decision happens and a healthy Milwaukee may be a problem next year. Not a contender, but definitely a top 8 type team in the East. Charlotte, I don't know. Maybe not. Mm-hmm. But only people I'd see moving that way is Milwaukee and the Pacers. Now, that top tier team, I don't. There's not a team in this world that I will ever really consider to be a championship team with James Harden on it. So Cleveland drops down completely with the addition of James Harden.
Welcome back, right. Ramon. Thank you.
So the Pacers gonna get moved, gonna go up. The Bucks, depending on what they do and the health, they're gonna get better. Washington's gonna be Washington. They should probably try to get an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament or something like that. But I dislike Washington and hate on Washington kind of like Kai hates on Purdue.
We're going to talk about Purdue later in this one. And when I bring up Washington and I bring up Charlotte, like I said, we talked about Washington at length at the deadline. I'm saying, at minimum play-in, if you can get to the play-in. I do think Charlotte will be better. I think what they've done at the second half of the season gives me a reason to think they are better. But the East is getting stronger next year, regardless of how we want to look at it. Somebody's going to slip. Somebody may stay the same. Somebody may get worse. Or somebody's going to get better. We're getting to a point here where it does feel like the West is still better top-heavy wise. But I think the East is starting to build out multiple teams that can be competitive / interesting to watch when we get to next year. You look at Philadelphia, they've surprised a lot of people, even though they've dropped down to 8th. I think next year is going to be really interesting with the East. and who falls and who gets better as we get closer to that. I want to pull up the standings for everybody, and we're going to go over these. We're talking about the Eastern Conference right now, if you're just joining us, because it's going to be an interesting run in these final couple games, as my partner has mentioned. Trying to get the standings to pull up, but the share screen is not working, so we will try that again in a minute. But fellas, what team do you want to discuss out east at this moment in time?
For me, I mean, I've been on the Detroit, back wagon, for the out east all season long. My issue with Detroit, man, and I talked about this last week. I really thought when they traded Jaden Ivey, they would have looked to get, real shooting in a real, difference making type player. I'm not talking about a starter, but a guy that can come in and give you valuable minutes. I still feel like they missed the boat on getting Duncan Robinson more help with regard to shooting. And I think that could be their Achilles heel come playoff time. They're a slashing team. They're a team that gets to the cup. That's the type of ball I like anyway. But in today's NBA, with the 5 out, you got 4 guys around the 3-point line, and you got 1 guy going to the basket, drive and kick. So I think, that's going to be my big challenge for Detroit. Are you able to make big shots when needed? Because getting to the cup, right, they're going to let you, get a little bit more physical in the playoffs, right? Do you have enough shooting? Duncan Robinson's a really, 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 really good shooter. But as I said, when he's on the floor, he's going to be in every damn screen and roll imaginable. They're gonna hunt him like it's deer hunting season, and there's only 1 left. So that's my worry about Detroit. But beyond, if they could clean that up somehow or protect him, that'd be a great thing in my view. So I'm still talking about the Detroit Pistons for me.
Ramon, who are you looking at in the Eastern Conference right now? What is there anyone you want to talk about, get off your chest, and then I'll go?
I'm gonna piggyback a little bit on that Detroit Pistons thing. I think that they're a very good team. And I would like to say that they're championship quality, but I can't say it with full confidence because I don't know if they have another person outside of Cade who can create their own shot at all 3 levels.
Yeah.
And I think at that, and once you get to the playoffs, that becomes an issue. You can't get a guy who can get to the bucket, get to the mid-range, go deep ball, and score, more than one person, that becomes a problem. Second, if I'm reading this right, I had to check the stats. Cunningham he leads in assists also for the team, right? So you got the same guy scoring all the points and dropping all the dimes. That's a big workload to put on somebody for multiple series. Where's that help at? And so that concerns me on a long run to a championship, to an NBA championship.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great point. And I would agree with you. When we look at Detroit right now, Cade's their guy. And then you look at it, they got Duncan Robinson. Duran's getting better as a scorer all around. But that, I think, you look at a team like Boston, New York, and even Cleveland, they've got shooters around them. They've got other playmakers around them. And when you look at Detroit, it is a Cade one-man show at some points. But I still think Detroit, when they get to the playoffs, it does turn into a more defensive game, which, I got to say that with air quotes, but it does become a little more physical. There is a little more defense. And I think when you look at a lot of these teams at the top of the East, the best defensive team is the team that's number 1 in the East right now to me. I think Detroit has something that the other 4 teams don't, and that's better defense. I think Detroit plays better defense than the other 4 teams, and that could be the caveat come the playoffs, right? We saw what the Thunder did. The Thunder were able to do defensively last year. And Shea's their main playmaker. I know they got J-Dub and Chet, but it still goes around Shea. So if Cade is able to facilitate in the playoffs and guys are hitting their shots and they play the defense that they've been playing in the regular season, it's why I still like Detroit slotted in at number 2 behind Boston. But I think Boston, offensively, I watched an episode of our earlier shows and we talked about Boston. They're live and die by the 3 mentality. That's probably Boston's biggest worry, right? Last year against New York, I remember I just watched the video yesterday. They shot 15 of 60, and then they lost to New York. I think it was game 2 or game 1.
You make a good point about the shooting piece. I think for Detroit, a guy who hasn't had a lot of pressure on him, but has been a very good player throughout his career, and that's Tobias Harris. Is he going to eventually decide, hey, I've got to help you out? Because he can put the ball on the deck. He can score in the low post. He can score in the mid-range. He's not much of a 3 shooter. But Tobias Harris, I think, is going to have to shoulder some of that load to be a matchup problem for the other team, right? But I think Cade, being as young as he is, I don't think he's going to be stressed at all. I think he's 25, 26. And the game is going to slow down, as we know, in the playoffs. I think that'll be good, but I just think Tobias Harris, of course, and obviously Duncan Robinson as well, but Tobias Harris can be a matchup issue. He's a decent defensive player as well. Again, I don't want to keep on harping Detroit, but they've got good players. It's just that long range shooting. They don't have that long range shooting, and I wonder how that's going to affect them down the stretch.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point. I want to, we've talked about.
They lost last night to Brooklyn. By the way, they lost to Brooklyn.
Detroit.
Yeah.
I mean,
but Kay didn't play. I think they had a couple other guys that missing. So guys get rest.
And that's my point. It's the regular season. It's the same thing, and I'm gonna continue to bring it up because Reggie's talking about it in the comments about this god awful Cleveland team. I'm not, we talked about it at length last week, and I'm glad Ramon came in here and is defending the Cleveland Cavaliers, and that's the comment I'm responding to. They beat on the Pistons without Spider. It's the regular season. We know what James Harden does in the regular season. All right, go back to Game 6 when he was in Philly against Boston. Go back to last year in Game 7 against Denver. This man he doesn't show up in the playoffs. And somebody commented, bringing up the 2012 NBA Finals. He had Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook on that team. And then we're going to go back to 2018. Do you really want to go back to 2018 where the whole team
someone said 2012?
Somebody said 2012.
I think 2012 I had hair, man.
Like 2012.
Hey, 2012?
2012. I'm like, what
listen,
are we?
I'll tell y'all some off-air stories about 2012.
Man, for me, look, great. You traded for James Harden, but we know what we're gonna get against Harden. You guys may beat the Raptors in 5 games. That's fine. But when you get to the next round, you don't got a shot. You're not getting out of the second round. You may not even get out of the first round if you got to play Orlando.
Somebody said Cleveland's ready. Someone says Cleveland's ready.
That was you. Yeah, but Daryl, I've harped on Detroit. Ramon's in agreement with me. Where do you stand on Cleveland?
I'm not as down on them as you two. I'm just be frank about it. And the reason why I say that is because Harden isn't the lead dog here. Harden is, you talking about the prototypical Robin. He may be Robin / Batgirl. I know I'm dating myself when I say that. He may be Robin / Batgirl. I mean, he may be the third because Jarrett and the other big man, they are really growing into players, right? So I believe that they have they've got a security fence in the back line of that defense. Right, that's going to erase a lot of the challenge. The same way they erased a lot of challenges last year when you had 2 6-foot guards in the backcourt who couldn't guard an empty chair. Right, so now you've got a more dynamic guy, in the beard than Garland, a guy that can do more offensively, which is going to put the defense more so on their heels. The flip side of that is Harden doesn't like to guard either. He doesn't like to guard. However, the pressure he's going to put on the teams on the other end may take away some of that heat that he's going to get on the defensive end. I'm not saying they're going to win the title. No, I'm still saying Detroit, and I think Boston's probably next. But I would say Cleveland, barring injuries and some things like that could happen, it wouldn't shock me if they're in the Eastern Conference Finals. It wouldn't shock me. But also, I'm not going to sit there and go to DraftKings and put any money on it either. You know, but to that point, I just think the Cleveland Cavaliers are a better team now than they were this time last year. Records be damned, because you got two guys now in that backcourt that are going to just push and put you in all type of tough spots. Remember, Garland was kind of back and forth all last playoffs, and he wasn't himself, right? Yeah. You know, I don't think he'll ever be back to what he was 3 years ago because of that toe injury. But I just think that Cleveland is they improved their team, but I don't know that they improved their team enough to come out of the East. I don't think so.
Ramon, can you go a little more in depth about Cleveland? What are your thoughts there? Obviously, I know we're in agreement, but maybe you may say something that I haven't said these last 2 weeks or so. You're muted, by the way, just letting you know.
Man, I mean, it's pretty much nothing to say, man. I don't trust a team that has James Harden on there to win a championship, man. It's just he's going to do something ridiculous, like either not play defense, get disinterested in the whole darn series, shoot over everything. Like, yeah. And maybe a combination of all three. Like, if you got to if you put any trust in that dude, man, then you know what? You deserve to lose.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, it's that simple, man. He great entertaining, very entertaining ball player, highly skilled, eye candy when it comes to playing, but when it comes down to winning championships, I'm going with everybody else.
That's fair. That's completely fair too, by the way. That's not a hater. That's not, oh man, I can't, because all you can do is go by what you've seen, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And what we've seen, to your point, man, is, yeah. That's why I say I'm not going to drive Kings on Cleveland. I tell you that.
No, I'm all good. We're gonna move over to the West. I am still of the belief on this. I said it earlier in the year. I'm still gonna say it here. I don't think right now there is a team out east that can beat the Thunder, and I guess I'm gonna now only say the Thunder and the Spurs. Right? If Jamal Murray, we don't know what his status is gonna be. But if Jamal Murray was here, I've been saying all year, I don't think there's a team out east that can beat the Spurs, Thunder, or Nuggets. I will take the Nuggets out of that conversation for now, just because, well, you know, Jamal Murray, we'll see what his status is here once we get to the playoffs. But looking at the West, you know, same as it's been for the last couple of weeks, other than the Nuggets have now dropped to 5th. Rockets are in 3rd. Timberwolves are in 4th. Nuggets are in 5th. And then, as I said last week, the rest are nobodies. So I am curious where you guys want to go first. I'm going to have a video coming out talking about the Lakers. I'm not going to spend too much time on them here, but I do want to get everybody's round table thoughts on the West. Hit whatever team you want, and we will just we'll let the discussion go on from there. So I'll bring something up if I want to bring it up.
You know what's interesting to me, and I know a lot of people are down on them because everybody hates KD. But all the Rockets has gone 39-23 with a young team of obviously KD age of a veteran, had some challenges earlier in the season. They're 39-23 and they're 3rd in the West. You know, I'm not saying they're going to win the title either, but just be aware of the Rockets. They're a young, they're athletic team. They're very long, and it looks as though someone got to Şengün and said, "You better toughen up and stop being a soft." Krabby Patty, right? So it looks like he's tried to toughen up a little bit. And if Şengün toughens up, because he can shoot the three, he's got moves in the post. They can be very dangerous if over these next 18 games or so, they can figure this thing out and say, hey, we're going to go into the playoffs really, really strong. So I like the Rockets, because everybody knows I like KD, and not because he's whatever you want to call it. I just think he's a hell of a player. And when you need a bucket, he's a guy that can go get you a bucket without going to get a screen, without having, throwing himself on the floor like somebody touched him, all those things like that. He can just go, he's a bucket getter. And I don't care about his burner accounts. We're talking about hoops.
Yeah, good point. Ramon,
that's my like.
Ramon, what are your thoughts on the West? Is there any team you want to hit or counterpoint off?
Oh yeah, man. I got
you got a couple things?
I got the Lakers in 5.
Yeah. Back to troll again.
I'm gonna grab my jersey. I'll be right back.
Put your hurt
see what you done did, man.
Put your hurt elbows in the air. Man, I think that the West is a two-person race. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Oklahoma and San Antonio. There it is. Two-person race. That's that. I would go with Oklahoma. I just don't think San Antonio is I think they're talented enough and good enough. I don't know if they're seasoned enough to win that many series. But if I'm Oklahoma, I'm trying to get one right now because the future don't look bright with that 7-12 guy on the other side.
Ramon, I'm curious, who's your third favorite though?
My third favorite?
Yeah.
It's a toss-up, man. It's a toss-up. So I think Houston, Minnesota, and Denver are all right there for certain reasons. I would probably lean toward Denver because I have a hard time, Joker is Joker.
Yeah.
But it's close, man. It's close. I would like to see Ant explode and take the whole playoff by hostage, but I don't know if it's going to happen.
He and we've talked about this. Yeah. Man, in those first two rounds, he beat Denver 2 years ago when nobody thought he would. Last year, I don't remember. They played the Lakers. I don't know. I forgot who they played in the second round. Was it Golden State? I think. Got it done there. He gets it done, and then you get to the Western Conference Finals. I call him the Mark Martin of the NBA. He's great, but he's going up against a guy that maybe just be a little bit greater than him in the moment at this point in time.
Can you clarify Mark Martin for those who don't know who that is?
Mark Martin is a NASCAR driver who he was in 6 championship battles. In all of his championship battles, he came in second in all 6. And that's my thing with Ant right now. He's came in second in the West these last couple of years. Right, lost to Dallas, and then lost to Oklahoma City last year. And Mark Martin lost to Dale Earnhardt. He lost to Jeff Gordon. He lost to guys that were just simply greater than him. And that's the same thing with Ant. He's just losing to guys that are. And this isn't to say, well, the series against Dallas, Ant didn't play well. If I go back to last year, and I think Ant did as well as he could against Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City is just flat out better. There was nothing. He played really well last year, better than he did against Dallas. I was heavily critical the way he played against Dallas. He played a lot better in the series against Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City's just more deep. And when you don't have Cat and you traded Cat for Gobert's not a great offensive player. It's not going to be too helpful when Oklahoma City can do defense and offense, and you're a little more limited on offense. But I think Ant can get them back to the Western Conference Finals. It really just is. He's going to play 2 teams that are just flat out better in the Spurs or the Thunder if they get there to the Western Conference Finals. And that's even a big if, because right now they would have to go through the Thunder in the second round. I think right now for me, Minnesota's third, which is great because we all view this differently. Ramon's probably got Denver. Daryl, it seems, has Houston in his third spot, and I probably got Minnesota at this point in time. And that's how it feels. I think all 5 of these teams are going to be very competitive. I do think I am not talking about Houston enough, but I want to see them get to the playoffs, and I want to see how they do, because I don't think KD is a problem for this team. If anything, KD is going to be the team that keeps them afloat, unlike last year, right? Because Jalen Green doing 31 game and 8 the next. You got someone that's going to consistently, I'm going to say, gives you 25 a night. Now, it is about Sengun. It is about Jabari Smith. It is about all these other guys. It is about Reed Shepherd, right? We were very critical. I was very critical of Reed Shepherd. He's playing really well. I'm still really worried about the point guard thing, but I'm going to put that to bed because now the deadline's passed. If you think this team's capable, I'm gonna go with you and say, okay, this team's capable, but what can you do, right? What can you do come playoff time? And we're going to find out. Right now, they play the Lakers. As a Laker fan, I have said, out of all the matchups in the West right now, I like the Houston one the best. Obviously they're a little lankier and a little taller, but Sengun, Smith, not the most athletic guys either. On the defensive side of the ball, Jabari Smith has been very criticized by Houston fans. So I like the Houston matchup more than I like the other matchups surrounding us in Minnesota or Denver or San Antonio or the Thunder. So, yeah, give me the Rockets. I will happily take the Rockets. I'm not expecting us to win, but this gives us the best chance to go to the next round, I do believe. And we get KD and LeBron for 7 games, so NBA gets the ratings too.
Hey, take a look at the West. As we just like last year. If you look at 3 through 7, you're talking about a 4 games difference.
Yep.
3 through 7. Back to the same boat again as last year. Ramon, if you remember, last year we talked about it, and I think the Lakers came up and somebody else came up. So what they were, I think someone mentioned in the chat, they're Lakers are number 3, but hell, in a game and a half they could be number 8. And it's in the same boat again. It's almost like the Western Conference. Vegas is made to call or something. I'm being funny, but it's like the same thing, right? But to your point, I think that the Thunder and the Spurs clearly, look at the records, are the differences in the West. But we've seen crazier things happen. As an example, last season, going into the playoffs, Milwaukee's going to throttle the Pacers. Bam, change your mind. Oh, Cleveland's going to take care of business in 5. Change your mind. Oh, don't worry about it. New York's going to get them because they just thumped Boston and Detroit. Oh, change your mind. We can say that this is the winner, but man, so much can happen where guys nut up and they don't play as well. A guy has a nagging injury, and before you know it, to your point, Isaiah, now you got the Timberwolves in the Western Conference Final, and you got a dynamic offensive player. And Ant, who's going to do everything he can to take over. He's got so much moxie to him, right? I don't think he's the best player in the West. I don't. But his between the ears is the best.
He knows he's the best player.
Yeah. There's no one can touch me. And a lot of guys have said they'll go at Michael Jordan if he was that. I don't believe that at all. But I believe it when Ant says it. I believe it I believe that he's a guy to say, I don't care. Some of it's just it's kind of pseudo. Oh yeah, I would play Michael Jordan. I'm not afraid of anybody. Okay, but Ant is the guy I believe that believes it when he says it, and he goes at your throat, man. He goes at your throat. Doesn't matter, right? So I just think that if they have a couple things turn their way, they absolutely could be right there in that Western Conference Final. I think the teams that can be in the Western Conference Final: Thunder, Spurs, Rockets, Timberwolves. And I just looked up the Jamal Murray deal. They haven't been committal on his injury yet. They're saying they hope it's not as bad.
Yeah.
When I hear we hope it's not as bad,
it's something.
Yeah, right. So I think those four teams, in my opinion.
I would agree. And I want to pose this question, right? Who's the best American player right now? Is it Ant or Cade? Because obviously Shay's from Canada. Wemby's France, who's the best American player? And I think it is between those two. I don't think there's another name. I think it's Ant and Cade. And I think I would personally, it's probably Cade, but man,
wait a minute.
I don't know.
We discount Batman in Boston. We just don't just throw him to the side. My
apologies.
Boston's, there's no chance they can make. Tatum's gone. There's no chance. You lose Horford. You lose who else? What was who else was they lose? Porzingis. He's gone, and all it is.
Yeah.
And all Jaylen Brown has done was lock down on defense, held his team to a point of where they're 3 games out of first place in the East, right? Strong offensive player, flirting with 50, 40, 90. Which is the benchmark. Listen, I'm not saying he's the absolute best, but there's conversation about the best American player. If you're not talking about Jaylen Brown in that conversation, there's something wrong with you. It just is. He's proven it. We can talk the talk all we want on the court. I'm sorry, man. I like what he's done. He's not as dynamic as Ant. I got it. He's not as out in front as Cade. I get it, man. I wouldn't have a problem. This is a 3-team draft, right? You got Cade, you got Ant, and you got Brown. I'll take 1 through 3. I'm going to get a great one, and I'm going to have a guy that I can depend on.
Ramon, anything you want to? You look like you got something you want to say, so I'm curious.
I don't know, man. I don't know. The greatest American player. The greatest American player. I can't say it's Jaylen Brown, man. I can't say it. I just can't. Like, something's missing. Like, he's good. He's really, really good. I just can't say he's the best American player. I like Anthony Edwards as the best. I like, looking at this year, I like Tyrese Maxey better than I like Jaylen Brown. Definitely like my guy in Detroit, K, better than I like Jaylen Brown. So, there's a couple people I like better than Jaylen Brown. So he wouldn't be in my top 3 if I was drafting. I mean, maybe 5 Americans I may want to draft before him.
Interesting. And Mac, Maxey, I thought about it a little bit when I didn't mention him, but yeah, Maxey, Mitchell. I think Donovan Mitchell's another good name.
Donovan, yeah.
I think Mitchell's a good one. I'm not gonna say Brunson, but Brunson's probably in that top 10. Right?
Got to play on both ends of the court, buddy. Got to play on both ends of the court.
That's true. I want to bring up Orlando again because we have been very critical of Orlando, me and Daryl, and how bad they've played this year. They're starting to. They're about. It looks like they're going to pass Toronto. Toronto's on a 2-game losing streak. Magic are on a 3-game win streak. You even got Miami and Philadelphia sitting back looming, trying to take that. So it's a battle for 5th, right? And then obviously that 5th and 6th, you're locked into the playoffs. 7th and 8th, you got to go through the play-in. A great decision by Adam Silver, of course, with the play-in, but that's neither here or there. What are your thoughts on the East play-in? Obviously, the West we'll go back to in a second, but the East play-in, who do you like in this play-in spot? Obviously, me and Daryl, we've been very positive about the Hornets in the last couple of weeks, but who do you like in this group of maybe could be in the play-in, maybe not?
For me, I like the Hornets out of that play-in. That's 7, 8, 9, 10. I like the Hornets because the way they've continued to get better all season, they shoot the ball very, very well. And everybody knows I'm not a ball fan.
I was just about to say
I said I'm not a ball fan. I still don't believe he's a winning player, but now that he's the 3rd best player on the team, I think he's at a place where he's not being depended on. I think Knipple has shown his worth, and I'm gonna tell you this. My guy, Brandon Miller, he is what we here in Indianapolis thought Paul George is going to be. I'm just going to say that. I love me some Brandon Miller.
Ramon?
I like Philadelphia in the play-in. Or if right now are they in the play-in right now?
Yeah, they're in the play-in right now.
I like Philadelphia in the play-in. It all can change if Milwaukee sneak in. If Milwaukee sneak in, I gotta rethink everything.
Yeah, they're down 5 games.
Yeah, so
man, that's gonna be tough.
That's gonna be really tough. But if they get in,
they'd have to win a lot
in a short series. That dude's a monster, and that will become scary. But Philly's my favorite in that, and out of those 4 that's in right now.
I agree with you. I honestly agree with both of you. If the play-in was today, I like Philly and the Hornets coming out of there. Atlanta is sneaky just because of the elevated play of Jalen Johnson. The dude is soaring like an eagle right now. They're on a 6-game win streak. I like Atlanta.
Like a hawk.
There you go. Like a hawk.
Atlanta Hawks. Yeah.
I like Atlanta a little bit. I don't like them as much as Philly and the Hornets. I don't like Miami at all. If I'm being completely honest with you. I think they're a wasted playoff spot if they get in. I think the Hornets and the Sixers can make it interesting for Detroit or Boston. We'll see what happens, right? Because there is a possibility Toronto falls, there's a possibility Orlando falls, and there's a possibility some of these teams rise up. We'll move over to the West, and then we'll start to move over into football talk. Looking at the West, right
hold
now.
on. Before we go to the West,
yeah, go ahead.
I need this to be on record.
Okay.
Atlanta, after having Magic City Monday night, they have officially become one of my favorite teams in all of professional sports. Magic City Monday night. Oh my God.
Oh my
God.
Hey,
I'm preparing. I'm preparing for something good. But you know what? I'm good with that too, Ramon.
It may be the best. It may be the best promo ever, man. Super Bowl need to take notes. All right, Magic City Monday night, man. All right, man. Carry on.
We'll move over to the West. Probably the least interesting playing, right? You've got the Suns, who just lost Dylan Brooks, and he was playing really well. You got the decaying Golden State Warriors. You've got the Clippers, who, in my opinion, are the most interesting playing team here. And then you got the Blazers, who are under 500, just like the Clippers. I could care less about the West playing right now, and that's so crazy because we've been talking about the last couple of years how the East playing has been so boring. Now it's flipped on its head, and the West playing is so boring.
I'm taking the Clippers out of that, man.
I think they've got you got to take technically one more because it's 7 and 8 that you're fighting for.
Well, of course, I'm not going to decline on Steph, right? I'm going to, as long as Steph has an opportunity as a leg in the game, I'm going to take. In this case, I'm going to take Steph and the Clippers. Warriors and the Clippers.
There you go.
The reason why I say Clippers, man, but I think the Clippers gonna surprise some folks. I think they could, they would struggle obviously if it was the Clippers and the Thunder, right? Now that'd be unfair.
Yeah.
But they added, Ben Mathurin, who is thriving, who I said he would thrive. He's a scoring player. You've got Kawhi, who's continued to play well all season. No drop off. Looks like an all NBA candidate, which I wouldn't be surprised if he's not all NBA. And I just think the Clippers have turned the corner as of 1 January. I just think they've got athleticism now. They play better. They're longer, and I just think they have an opportunity to obviously win the play-in. But the problem for them is they'd run into either the Spurs or the Thunder, and that'd be tough. I'd rather them run into the Spurs if I were a Clippers fan.
Yeah.
Because of the inexperience piece there. And you've got Kawhi, and you got the whole Kawhi versus the Spurs. And I'm sure he'd probably try to go for 40 every night, Yeah. So that would be interesting. I would like to see that matchup versus, the Clippers versus Thunder.
I like Clippers and I like the Suns. I know Dylan Brooks is out. But I have a lot of belief in Devin Booker. I think that's another one of those American players that is probably in the top 10 right now. I think Devin Booker, like I talked about it in the offseason when they lost KD. I said this organization has failed Devin Booker in a lot of ways with their trigger happy moves to go get Beal. And obviously Booker signs off on that. I get it, whatever. But I have a lot of belief in Devin Booker. And I think a part of me also just doesn't want to see the Warriors in the playoffs because I'm looking at them like the Miami Heat right now. It's a wasted playoff spot for me if they get in. And honestly, I think everybody in the West that's in the play-in is a little wasted at this point. I don't think any of them are going to really be a threat to the Thunder or Spurs, obviously. But I think right now, I like the Clippers because of Kawhi and Mathurin. I like the Suns because of I think the roster – it's just worked, right? There's not much I can really say. I haven't watched a lot of them, but it's just working. And I like Devin Booker. Dylan Brooks has brought what he brings is the best way I can put that. It sucks that he's out because he really has been that helpful for them. But I do like Devin Booker a lot. I think he is a number one option. If Phoenix was better constructed, maybe they are ahead of the Lakers and maybe they are in a top 5 conversation record-wise. But I like the Suns and the Clippers coming out of the play-in. Ramon, what are your thoughts?
First, I want to address the person who said they can't trust me anymore because I'm drinking water out of a straw. No, I think
that was Jayson. I think it was my stepdad.
That's kind of tough, man.
I gotta get a tooth taken out, man. It's killing me. So,
okay, I got you.
Cold on it, man. So that's why I got the straw with the water, man.
Hey, you gotta call it. You gotta call it like it is, though, man. Is that man rule number 2 or something.
Man rule number 2, man. I hate that, man. I gotta drink this book out of a straw, man. It's crazy. All right, but that's funny. That was really funny. It's funny as hell. The West, man, you can just ball that whole playoff in, play in, and throw it away for all I care. Yeah. But I like the Clippers. I thought I liked Phoenix at first, but nah, I don't. So I like the Clippers and I like Golden State. And quite honestly, man, I wouldn't be if Phoenix wasn't, if my man didn't get hurt, man, I wouldn't have been shocked if LA wouldn't have fell into the play-in. They got a blessing with your boy getting hurt. It's gonna keep them off their butt a little bit. But yeah, I see Golden State and Clippers getting those last 2 spots, and I actually see the Clippers at 7 and Golden State at 8.
I agree.
When it's all said and done.
I agree.
And I'm about to drink some more water with a straw for whoever got a problem with it, man.
Go ahead, Daryl.
Yeah. I want to hit back to Phoenix. Now, Isaiah, you and I had this conversation some time ago. You're on Devin Booker like he's a difference maker. I look at him as the light-skinned James Harden out of the West. When they had an opportunity, they were up 2-0 against Milwaukee in the finals with your best player. They went to Milwaukee, pissed the bed, didn't win another game. He was clearly your best player, your $60 million a year guy. It did nothing. Subsequent to that, the guy has signed off on every trade that was made. He signed off on Aiden leaving and all the drama going there, which I'm not saying was a difference maker. He was okay with that. The Chris Paul thing, okay with that. Okay with bringing in Kevin Durant. Okay with bringing in Bradley Beal. If Devin Booker doesn't shoulder some of the blame in what's going on in Phoenix, who does, right? He's accomplished nothing. He's accomplished nothing when we're talking about team winning in the NBA. Yes, they got to the finals. Yes, got it. Wonderful. Great. But beyond that, I'm just not seeing what you see in the Devin Booker mystery bag, because I see him as, again, as I said, the light skin, beard. I just do.
I just said I like him. I'm not. That's all I gotta say.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I get it. I'm not.
You talk about him a lot, Devin Booker. But
this isn't no Justin Herbert infatuation. I just said I like that. I just said I like Devin Booker a lot. I think he can be a number 1 option. I mean, he was when they got to the final.
He's an absolute number 1 option.
I get it. I get it. He didn't. They choked the finals away. I understand that. And when I
he.
I just said he.
You said they. You said they.
I mean,
but we're gonna say Harden choked away. We gotta share the same. We gotta be balanced, right?
That's fair.
Look at what Devin Booker's done. He's disappeared, especially in Game 3 against Milwaukee.
Yeah.
And so all I'm saying is, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. I wouldn't take him or Harden in a Game 7. You can keep them both.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Look, I just said I liked them. I'm not. Yeah, I great points. I'm not disagreeing with you on those. It's going to be interesting for sure. I think the West is a little more settled than the East. My finals matchup right now in this moment in time is Spurs Celtics. It's where I'm at right now. Obviously, the Thunder can slot in there too, but I think it's Spurs/Thunder versus Celtics at this moment in time. And all of those Cleveland fans, look, me and my your Cavs and my Lakers will be in Cancun together, sipping pina coladas and having a good old time. So, and you guys,
Harden for MVP.
And you guys get LeBron in the offseason. So there you go. You guys,
someone said Harden for MVP.
All right, Daryl. I know it's you. All right. Nice try. We're going to move over to the NFL. The NFL back in form. So we are going to go ahead and transition over to that. NBA is going to be interesting, though. Playoffs are around the corner. As we start to wind it down here, get to our final segment of the show, we move over to the NFL and we talk about free agency. We'll start off with the big one. Maxx Crosby heading to Baltimore. We talked about this on Bias with the Little Truth literally last week, where we said Crosby probably should be the one to get traded. Brown should probably not move Garrett. And literally a couple days later, Maxx Crosby gets moved to Baltimore. As a Cowboys fan, I saw Schefter's report that they offered a first and a second, and that was basically the deal right behind this deal. And obviously, when you're the Raiders, you're going to take 2 firsts over a first and a second. But so sucks, obviously, but I'm not too mad about it because I want to use all our money on the secondary. So I'm not too mad about it because we've got a decent D line at this point. Your guys' thoughts on Crosby to the Ravens? I will say this point before I let you guys go. Don't know if the Ravens are still – I don't know if they can get over the hump, right? I kind of look at Lamar as the pseudo James Harden of the NFL at this moment in time. So we'll see what happens. I'm not going to buy Baltimore just yet. They'll probably win the division. But I'm not even going to say that they may not even win the division at how bad last year went because this defense was already good. And now you get Crosby, which makes it better. But still, it's just NFL was such a turntable last year. It was so out of nowhere how random it was. I'm not even going to say they're going to win the division right now. They're really good. But, going into our preseason rankings, I have no idea where I'm going to rank these teams at this moment because it was so up and down last year.
I like it. I like what for the trade for both teams. I'll start with Baltimore first, right? So there was going to be no player at 14 that they were going to be able to get to be able to plug into their starting lineup and be a wrecker, right? Be an absolute wrecker. So you give that pickup. So the easy call, because I think they were looking at defense anyway, right? Second piece is next year they gave up their first round pick, right? So you're hoping that this move to Maxx is going to put you not just in the playoffs, but put you potentially in the AFC title game, right? Which means you'd be picking in that 26, 27-ish range. So I think that's what Baltimore is thinking on their end. With Oakland, I keep calling the Raiders Oakland. I'm going to keep on calling them Oakland. The Raiders, their piece is this. They've got the first pick. They'll get Mr. Mendoza. Number 14, I think that gives them an opportunity to get the best offensive lineman that they can get at 14. Maybe they'll go in another direction, but they cannot go into the season with that offensive line and starting a rookie quarterback thinking he's going to survive. Nope. So I think that helps them. Or also they could parlay that 14 into multiple picks in that maybe late first round or into the second, which I think they really should look to do because they've got so much need at that offensive line and also depth wise as well too. So that's what I think. I think both teams won in this trade. Maxx Crosby is locked up for 4 years, which is great for Baltimore. So they don't have to go chasing goals. And the 4 years for Maxx Crosby is his prime years. He'll be 29 in August. That means 4 years he'll be at 33. It's a win for both teams as long as the Raiders don't wet the bed on this draft.
Ramon, your thoughts?
Man, I don't think. I just do. All right, here we go. I think that I don't trust Baltimore Ravens, period, no matter what. So I just can't see them. I don't see them as a Super Bowl contender. Now, are they going to have a good season? I'm looking at their schedule, and I'm looking at probably 11 built-in wins, period. So I think they got 11. I think Crosby will give them maybe one, maybe two more wins. So you're looking at 13-win season, and then whatever the quarterback can muster up. So I think that they'll have a great year. I think they'll have a productive year. I don't know if the quarterback is a Super Bowl caliber championship quarterback. I think he's talented, but I don't know if he's great like that. So I wouldn't call him James Harden, but I would call him James Harden light. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
The light version of it. But I think they'll be a lot better. I think the Raiders got, better because they get picks. You know what I'm saying? They can start rebuilding to exactly what they're looking for, whatever that is. I think they got more than one hole in that darn ship. Like, there's a bunch of problems over there. So as long as they draft talent, draft well, draft to the scheme, I think they'll be okay. And they have patience because that ain't going to turn around in a year or 2 years or maybe not even 3 years. But I do think that they'll get better. Who just put Jackson for MVP?
That was Daryl.
Daryl, yeah. Jackson will be MVP because, it sells.
Nobody cares.
It gets people to tune into ESPN and all the different networks and all the podcasts. We talk about Lamar Jackson, but I don't think he's a championship. And I get tired of hearing them talked about with championship Super Bowl quarterbacks when he's not there yet. Now, do I think he's good? He's extremely good. He's extremely talented. But we're giving him a little bit more than what he's earned so far. And I don't know if they can do it next year. But I do like their schedule. Shoot, they got a Cincinnati, Cleveland, and Pittsburgh gonna all suck.
Yeah.
Right? They're all in transition. Cincinnati's losing their best defensive
Daryl,
player.
you're muted. I was just letting you know.
Cleveland is Cleveland. They have no quarterback.
It was somebody else.
And then Pittsburgh, their quarterback is on vacation until he decides he don't want to be on vacation. So he's holding them hostage again. And with a change of head coach, I don't know what's going to happen over there. So Baltimore's going to win that conference or whatever. They got who they got? They on the schedule, man. They got like the Falcons, Tennessee, New Orleans. They got
the Falcons.
Yeah, your Falcons. Yeah. They got a favorable schedule. So I think they're gonna be good. I don't think they're gonna be a Super Bowl quality team. And I think they both did well. And someone just put Cleveland's gonna be dominant in the chat. You know what? I agree with you. Cleveland is going to be dominant, just not in football. Maybe like Cleveland Indians.
They're not gonna be dominant in basketball either.
I mean, they got James Sanders starting at quarterback.
They better go watch the Dayton Flyers.
I see what you did there. I see what
you like that, right? You're right there. That's James Sanders, buddy.
Oh my God.
The other trades that went on.
Can I hit real quick on the piece there to the Cleveland piece? I mean, I said the Cleveland piece, the Baltimore piece. Everything you said was right, Ramon. I want to know your thoughts on the new coach coming in. Remember, I was very critical of Harbaugh last year. Very critical all season. What do you think about the new coach? I want to make sure I ask that, and then we can go on. But I want to get your thoughts on the new coach.
I don't know enough about him as a head coach, man. I think he's a smart mind. I think he's been productive and pretty good everywhere he's been as an assistant or coordinator, but I don't know what he's going to do as a head coach. And that wouldn't concern me as much as all the reports that you hear about who Lamar Jackson really is. Kind of scares me with a new head coach, even though he's been in the building before, right? If I recall right. So, that may have been it. That may have been why they brought Jesse Minter in, because they said, hey, Lamar can get along with this guy. Let's bring him in. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that they consulted Lamar about this, and they probably talked to other people who was in the building at the time when Jesse Minter was in the building with Lamar and say, hey, what's the relationship? What's it going to look like with those two? Because if it's bad, that ship can sink real quick.
Yeah.
Did you all see, and again, this is staying on Baltimore, remember when he fired Harbaugh and they had an interview and someone said to him, hey, because it was a close game they lost, right, at the end of the season. If they win this game, does Harbaugh stay? He said, yes, another week. I'm gonna grab it and I'm gonna post it for you guys. He said, I think Steve Bisciotti, I think is the owner's name. Basically, what he said was, I was going away from Harbaugh regardless.
And
that tells me a little something. I'm gonna grab it and share because he didn't say it arrogantly. He says, well, what would have happened? He'd have had another week. That was telling to me too, right? So, 19 years in one place, he and coach in Pittsburgh, same way. I just think it was just time, right? So I'm really excited to see what Baltimore looks like this season because they've got the line, they've got good receivers, they got quarter on the offensive side, they've got it, and then you add Maxx. I'm really going to be interested to see how they look this season.
It feels like, and I was going to bring up the Buffalo trade, getting more, but it just feels like we're having the same conversation we've had heading into last year about Baltimore and Buffalo. They've got this. They've got this. They've got this. They've got this. It just, it was a little refreshing to talk about Denver and New England because we didn't know what they could do. As much, the Crosby trade's so interesting, I guess, and the Moore trade to Buffalo is interesting, but it's just, okay. You guys, there's everything on the table for you guys to go win it. For me, for both of these teams, there's not much for me to say. You have all the talent around you. Buffalo, okay, Josh Allen didn't have a receiver, whatever. You still got to the dance and you didn't show up. And same thing for Baltimore. It was a horrible season. I know Lamar got hurt, but go back to the last couple playoff games for both guys. There's not much more I need to talk about with these two teams. Go get it done. There's no Kansas City next year as far as I'm concerned right now. We don't know if Mahomes will be back. Some people are saying he will, some won't. I don't care. Right now, there is no Kansas City. In your mind, there should be no Kansas City. So you need to go out and win, right? New England just wasted what could have been your spot in the Super Bowl. You let that young New England team get there and waste a year of your eligibility to be a championship team. So for both of these teams, for me, there isn't much to say anymore. You need to go out and you need to get it done. Both quarterbacks, right? Football, team sport, cool. At the end of the day, you both have defenses that have been able to win you games for a while. Well, Buffalo, I don't know. That's a stretch. But either way,
you make good points. You make good points.
Both of you are generational quarterbacks. Go get it done, or you guys are going to be in the Justin Herbert tier, right? So get it. You guys got to get it done at this point. Go get it done.
You got to share with Ramon your take on Justin Herbert. This is classic. So you got to start from the beginning. Go ahead. So we're talking about love affairs, and we talked about players, and then we hand it to Isaiah.
I'm officially for me and Herbert, I called it a one-night stand. I think it was last week. I'm gonna stay a little back this year. I'll still check in. Just not as much. I'll be supporting from a distance this year.
It's gonna be WYD, Ramon. What you doing?
What you doing? I'm not gonna be. With a little bit of a separation this season.
So let me get this right. You have officially broken up with the Lakers?
No. I haven't broken up with the Lakers. No.
Okay,
No, I'm still late. Ramon.
They're still shocking, Ramon.
I'm a realistic Lakers fan. You said what?
You broke up with the Falcons.
No, we're still pushing. We're still pushing on Atlanta.
You broke up with Orlando.
No, Orlando's a little different. I think for Orlando, it's not me, it's you. That's all it is. I'm still supportive. It's just you're going through a rough patch right now, but I'm still there for you, right? But
so the only person you've broken up with so far,
it's just the Chargers right now. Me and the Chargers, we got to separate for a little bit.
You got your other three. Okay.
Lakers, I'm still Lakers. Lakers, it takes time. I'm not. Lakers, it takes time. I've got a video coming out this week, and I'm going to explain everything when it comes to the Lakers and what I expect from them this offseason.
I love that.
You sound like a whore.
Whoa! Hey, the guy next to me has 8 NFL teams, so I'm not that bad, all right?
I don't have 8. Listen, they're just teams I like.
Hey, there's teams I like.
You got Cott Bigelow over there, man.
Look. I'm not. Look, all I'm saying is I will support the Chargers just a little bit, but I'm not gonna sit here every week and say Chargers this, Chargers that. If they win a game, I'll be like, congrats to the Chargers on a hard fought win and nothing more. If Herbert plays well, I'd be like, well, he's in the Dak Prescott tier. You can't win in the playoffs. So,
I forgot about your love affair with Dallas.
They're still seeing each other. Just mad. They're just mad at each other most of the time.
Yeah. That one's toxic. That one's very toxic. I will not lie. Hey, I told Daryl on the phone yesterday. It makes me sick a little bit that I have a little bit of belief in this team next year. There's a small part of me that's like, we just get a secondary. We could maybe win the division. Philadelphia's. They're going to move AJ Brown, right? That money's starting to get a little tight down over there in Philly. We got about $40 million to play with. We go get a secondary. It's going to come down to Daryl's favorite quarterback, Dak Prescott, who's this great guy and great regular season performer. We talk about Herbert in the playoffs, but Dak Prescott, it's this, the team. I don't understand it. We crapped on Herbert all last year, but I bring up the same points against Dallas, and I was for Dak, and I was told, well, the team was never going to be that competitive. I don't get it, but you know what? We are coming to a point this year where if they go get a secondary in the offseason, and we got a new D coordinator, Schottenheimer was impressive at bare minimum. I don't think there's an excuse for Dak next year. And as long as CeeDee Lamb isn't eating Butterfingers before the game, I think, we should be in good shape.
Man, you sound like an abused spouse.
Yeah. No, you're not lying. Better. You're not lying.
Hey, God. My man got Stockholm syndrome, man. with the Dallas Cowboys, man. Somebody save my man Isaiah, man. Somebody prayer, counseling, therapy. Hey, that's our next guest should be a therapist.
Hey, look, you should be able to talk to somebody.
I talked to Daryl all this year about Dallas. I talked to Daryl all this year.
Hey, they got a grip on him. I've never seen this before in my life, man.
What? I don't got much to say about Dallas other than let's see what they do in the offseason.
Man, we've been saying that since like the 80s, bro.
I know. Trust me, I know.
We've been saying let's see what they're gonna do in the offseason since.
Somebody gave me hell and it said y'all give. JB. He said y'all give Isaiah hell because his youthfulness, right? So think about this. He's a Cowboys fan, but never saw him win. He was born in 04, 03, 04, and he's never seen him win. Talk about pain.
And that's why I'm a little more, and maybe that's why I'm a little more calm about the Lakers. I'm a little more realistic about the Lakers. I've seen them win. I technically didn't see the 09 one, but I watched 10 and I saw obviously 2020. So I do give them a little more grace. They've made, even when they lose in the playoffs, I'm just, Lakers playoff basketball, at least I know they got somewhat of a shot. And when they lose, do I get mad? I do. But at the end of the day, I can go back to a time where I said, man, they made me really, really happy when they won the championship. I can't, what I remember about Dallas? Dak didn't hand the ball to the ref. Dak didn't make this throw in the third quarter of the divisional against San Francisco. Dak didn't do this. Jason Garrett is a bumbling buffoon idiot. Mike McCarthy is a bumbling buffoon idiot. There's no memorable. My favorite memory about the Dallas Cowboys, that first year with Dak and Zeke, and maybe 2014 with Romo. But other than that, the pain outlies the two decent moments about this Dallas team. You're muted again, Daryl.
See what you did, Ramon? We got him on the couch. He's laying back. He's letting it off. He's got to feel better now.
I'm not going to feel better.
I feel better that you're talking about it. I feel safer.
We went off in a completely different direction. All I'm saying is I don't got much to say about Baltimore and Buffalo and the moves they make until one of them gets a Super Bowl appearance at this point. It's kind of how it's just kind of, we talk about them a lot. We talked about them all last year. Daryl had them in the Ramon had Buffalo in the Super Bowl. I think I had Buffalo in the Super Bowl.
I had Baltimore in the Super Bowl.
So it's just like I just what's there to talk about with these two until they get it done? You let a young New England team get there that got absolutely demolished for let's call it like it is. We'll see what happens. I don't have much else to say, and I really don't have much to say about the Colts trading Zaire Franklin. I know Colts fans are upset, but it's the Colts.
I think that was a money thing, right? We talked about it, and I know we're not going to hit a lot on the Colts, but they only made one move, right?
Well, I do have something I'm going to say, but it's not about the trade.
So he was at $8.5 million. The player trade for is 1.1. They save about $7 million. If in fact this is a precursor to another move that the Colts are going to make, hey, great. But if you're not going to do anything with regard, because you don't have a first round pick, so it's not like you got a first rounder that you can give a lot of money to. Yes, you gave $36 million to a guy who has all the leverage over you because he tore his Achilles. He's been an average quarterback. He may not be back till November or December, but yet you transition him. You give him $30+ million because he says I'm like, people say he has leverage.
Yeah.
So that's typical of the Colts. Doesn't surprise me.
I want to say this, and Ramon, I'm curious what you'll think about this. I would rather have Kyler Murray as the quarterback for the Colts next year instead of a Daniel Jones coming off an Achilles tear, and I don't think it's relatively close. I'd rather have the road runner than Daniel Jones right now. And I don't think either. I'm not saying one of them moves mountains, and I don't think that. I just think right now I would rather have Kyler Murray than I would Daniel Jones. And I don't even have really any good evidence to back it up, to be honest. I just don't want Daniel Jones. The reason I think he was able to work last year was the system, and then he could make plays with his feet. I don't know how well he's going to be able to do that next year for the Colts. And I'm not saying Kyler Murray is this great player, but he's healthy. He's not coming off an Achilles tear. You've got a really good O-line. It'd be the best O-line he plays with ever. Same thing with Daniel Jones coming into the best situation he's ever had. It's going to be the same thing for Kyler Murray, right? And at one point, Kyler Murray had DeAndre Hopkins. They were one of the top teams in the NFC. Didn't result in anything good. They got immediately stomped in the wild card, but still, there's one shining light in that small frame. I don't know how to word it. You're picking between. I don't know. You're not picking between two good options, but I'd rather have the small, fast option than the post Achilles tear Daniel Jones. I don't know, Ramon. What do you think? I know you're probably the same thing as me. It's like, either one's not going to be that great.
First, this Zaire Franklin trade doesn't make sense to me unless there's a second or third move behind it. Right?
Yeah.
I think that in Green Bay, if your boy comes back healthy after that ACL tear, they may be tough on defense. Oh, they may be able to get after. You got somebody who can get after the quarterback, and you got someone who can tackle, who's a tackling machine. Oh my gosh, that may be a great move for Green Bay. As far as the little fella coming to Indianapolis, I think it's a good move because if I'm right, Arizona's still on the hook for most of his money, right?
Yeah, they waived him, so yeah.
Yeah, so if they're on the hook for most of his money, you can get it for cheap. You can bring him in.
Yeah.
Ain't no sweat, and then next year go look for somebody else different.
Yeah.
So if they do, they do. They don't, they don't. I don't think he moves the pendulum much. I don't think he moves the needle that much as a quarterback.
No, I don't either. No, I think in that system,
if you bring him in, you better hope that he don't tear the locker room up.
You better hope a Call of Duty doesn't come out. You guys know about that?
I read something.
You guys know about that? When a new Call of Duty drops, Kyler Murray's stats drop off really bad, like horribly bad.
Yeah, I remember reading something like that.
It's been since he's been in the league. It's statistically proven when a new Call of Duty comes out, his stats go. I look. My thing is, if Daniel Jones can succeed in this roster, Kyler Murray is a far more athletic player. How could Kyler Murray not succeed? Is kind of my line of thinking. At this point in time, I think the other thing too. Obviously Anthony Richardson's going to get traded. If I'm the Raiders, like we've been talking about, Mendoza shouldn't play. Maybe you go get AR, have him start. Either, right? Literally two names: the Raiders or the Cardinals. Or the Cardinals could go get him. Those are two teams right now that are going to need a quarterback. Maybe Pittsburgh, right? Rams. I've been saying the Rams since the deadline of
Pittsburgh got a quarterback, man.
Oh, Jesus. I don't know about that.
Again, as we said, I think Pittsburgh, Miami, Arizona, and the Colts are all looking for a guy, right?
Pittsburgh got a guy, man.
Oh, okay. So with that said, I know. You know what? I'm gonna let you have it. Who does Pittsburgh have, Ramon?
Man, you already know, man. You already know.
Welcome back, Ramon. Oh,
he's the national champion.
He is. He
is. I give him that.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah. I think I'm curious where Richardson will go. I think Arizona. I think Arizona or the Rams. I think he
should go to Cleveland. Be a starter where he goes.
Oh my God.
he goes.
Cleveland. Be great in Cleveland.
Nope.
Richardson won't be a starter, but he has an opportunity to as a reclamation project, right? The Colts put him in week 1 starting, didn't have any competition. That he was a fourth pick. I think they mishandled him, ridiculously. And I think that he has a chance to be a serviceable quarterback. And then say Super Bowl champion, MVP, a serviceable quarterback with the right coaching.
Yep.
But we won't know until we see where he goes, if he goes anywhere, and then how he plays out. Maybe he realizes I got to take the game more serious. Maybe he wasn't taking it real serious. Maybe so much was handed to him where he didn't have to do the extra work, right? So I'm going to be interested to see wherever he lands, and I'm going to follow his career because I think inherently he's a good dude, I just think that good dude has to turn into a good player.
If he goes to the Rams, league's in trouble. I hope he goes to
the Rams. If he goes to Cleveland, Lamar Jackson too.
I guess. I don't know. We'll see. We will see. Is there anything else NFL wise you guys wanted to hit? I don't really have much. Do you think Geno Smith gets signed by anyone?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, of course. He's a veteran, but the way I blamed a lot of Geno last year, right? I put a lot of blame on him last year. I didn't give enough blame to the offensive line and the direction of the coaching staff. Think about you fire your offensive coordinator in week 10. Geno gets on the bench. You got an offensive line that's horrid. It was just a big old mess. You got your head coach, got 2 of his sons that are coaching for him. Didn't fire them, but you fired the offensive coordinator. It was just a mess. And maybe in cleaning that house and getting back to square one, Oakland has an opportunity, and then Geno can go somewhere where he's not in a toxic situation. Maybe he goes to Miami for a year as a stopgap if in fact they let go of Tua.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
If in fact, right? We got till March 11th. So March 11th is Wednesday.
I'm gonna tell you what, Geno, what would make sense, especially as a stopgap, Geno to Indianapolis.
Yeah. I try not to bring that up because it's something that the Colts would do instead of going to get Kyler Murray. But I don't know.
I'm not sold on Kyler Murray.
I think cost will be the big deal too, right? Well, how much is it going to cost, on the Kyler Murray side versus Geno? The Colts just made a move yesterday to cut costs. Yeah. So they ain't trying to spend money. So I think that comes into play as well. My
last thing, NFL, Mike Evans, where does he go? I don't think he's back in Tampa. Where does he go?
I think he stays in Tampa. I think he's going to retire as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer.
Ramon?
That's all I got.
I don't know, man. He's a number 2 at this point in his career. So where
almost a 3. Almost a 3.
Yeah,
almost a 3 with all those injuries.
Where does he go? Where does he go? Who has a good number 1, but nobody else?
Buffalo, probably.
Buffalo,
Buffalo and Baltimore are the 2 names that come to mind for me right now.
Buffalo will be a good.
Baltimore's got good receivers.
Lively, yeah, that's true. They got Zay. They got that's a good point. My bad. I kind of
got your boy from Chicago.
Yeah. Chicago. Chicago. They just got rid of Moore. So maybe Chicago.
He can go.
Corey said Mike Evans to Washington. Hey, that may not be bad, but I just think he's going to stand. I mean, That dude was drafted by them. He had those 11 seasons in a row at 1,000 yards or 10 or whatever it was. I just think the sentimental piece is going to keep him in Tampa.
Tyreek Hill. Sorry, where do you think he goes? I want to say Kansas City, but I think it depends on if Mahomes is going to be back next year or this year. But I don't think he will.
I don't think he's going to go where the money is.
I think Mahomes is a Tatum situation. Sorry, go ahead. I
think Tyreek Hill goes wherever he gets the most money. I don't think it matters winning or losing, because I think he's at the point where he's like, hey, I'm trying to gather funds, right? And I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to the team that pays him the most money, whoever it may be.
Like I said, I want the Cowboys to spend a lot of their money on defense, but I would not be mad at a George Pickens, Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb, three-headed monster at all. You know,
I'm sure he's still a 4-3 guy.
I'm also fine with Debo. If you wanted to get Debo, I would be perfectly fine with getting Debo as well.
To Dallas,
I would not be mad at if we spend a little money to get.
I don't like that. I don't like that. Personally, I don't like Debo going to Dallas.
You really like the circus, man. You really like pain, don't you?
Yeah.
And dysfunction.
I wouldn't mind a third receiver. Cheated in New England. That's a good one because Diggs being gone. Vrabel ran a strict program. So I'm
gonna tell you, if we bounce back to Mike Evans, I'm gonna tell you where he looks good.
New England?
Nope. San Francisco.
Oh no. Nope.
In that offense scheme, he will be.
Well, Ayuk is not going to be back, so they're going to need to fill a spot somewhere because he's got a whole lot of other stuff going on. So maybe, but
in
again,
that scheme, he would look good.
Well,
quick passes,
what's the Niners receiver's name?
Work.
Because there's a Niners receiver that is going to be sought after too. I forgot his name. Is it Juwan Jennings? Is that his name?
No, Jennings. They got Jennings, and they got the kid from Florida that got shot, Pearsall. But they don't have a third because Ayuk is having whatever is going on with Ayuk, and they're trying to avoid his contract. So they do need a third guy. I think Jennings stays. I think Pearsall is continuing to get better as well too. But then you got your tight ends getting long in the two, so you got to think about that. And also coming off of another injury play.
Injury. Yeah.
I mean, there's some. I mean, you look at the receiver room. We talked about it a little bit. You got Christian Kirk, you got Evans, you got Hill, you got Debo. Darnell Mooney will be another interesting one. I mean, there's some interesting receivers here. Rashid Shaheed is another one. The kickoff for the guy that
he's going to cost somebody a lot of money. He just turned down the money in Seattle because coming off the heels of that Super Bowl and what he did, he's going to look for big money. And I look at it just like the Tyreek Hill thing. Whoever pays him the most, doesn't matter what team it is. He could go to the Cleveland Browns. If they offered him $100 more, I'd be willing. Because, again, remember, he's a guy the Saints traded basically for nothing to Seattle.
Yeah.
He was an afterthought, right? Just a speed guy. And now he's a Super Bowl champion that's looking to strike, which is the perfect time coming off of a Super Bowl season.
How well did Zay Jones do in how well did he do in Arizona?
I don't have it in front of me, and as a fancy football guy, it doesn't ring a bell. So I would say he probably didn't do so well.
Alec Pierce.
He did maybe. Alec Pierce, great. 40.
Where do you think he goes?
Well, I thought did the coach just sign him or no? Or maybe it was a fake report.
They haven't signed him yet.
These fake reports kill me. I don't think he signs with the coach. I said that when we talked last week. Yeah. I think the coach tried to lowball him, and I think he's going to say, you know what? I'm going to show y'all. Because they're in love. They're in love with their number one guy, for whatever reason.
Alex, I don't know why I said Alex. Ramon, where do you think he goes?
Who's that?
Alec Pierce.
I don't know.
20,
Fair enough. I don't know either.
20 yards a catch, man. 20 yards a catch.
I don't.
That's not over. That's not over 3 or 4 games. That's over the season. 20 yards a catch, pretty damn good. Man.
No. I do think that his production was really good. I'm trying to think where he would fit.
Yeah.
What offense? What scheme?
Buffalo.
Where he will fit?
I just keep thinking Buffalo for a lot of.
Hey, they
Buffalo,
need it, right? They
Buffalo
need,
just
yeah.
needs somebody else, and but
you know what? You know, you hear rumors about him and Dallas, him in Washington, places like that. I don't know.
I think Dallas may be off limits because of what they did with Pickens. They just signed. Yeah, but I'm with you. I'm saying we're spitballing, right? Man, it's a whole. That's a lot of intrigue around where these guys are going to go, and I think money is going to be the deal because I just believe that. Yeah, I know they say, "Oh, I just want to win a Super Bowl." Yeah, okay, I hear you saying that, but would you rather win a Super Bowl and sign a 4-year, $50 million deal, or you rather go sign a 4-year, $80 million deal somewhere else and not win a Super Bowl? Give me the 80. I'll buy a Super Bowl ring.
Now check this out. What you think about this? You think about, the Raiders drafting a quarterback, maybe going to get an offensive lineman with that second first round pick, and then grabbing my man in free agency.
Alec Pierce, right? A guy that can stretch the field, right? That may be something to consider. They've got opportunity though, right, Ramon? The Raiders put themselves in a situation with that trade to maybe parlay that number 14 pick. They could probably get probably a late first or a couple of seconds in this. I mean, and a player, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna be really interested to see what the Raiders look to do.
I don't care what anybody else does. As long as Dallas goes out and contacts every corner and safety in free agency, don't do nothing else. You better call every corner and safety, offer them the same amount of money. I don't care what you got to do. Do whatever you can to go get a secondary.
I tell you what, Isaiah, on draft day when we're
if their first signing is a linebacker or an offensive line, I'm gonna break my own computer.
You see the anger in his face, man. You see the anger in his face. So
I felt it for a year, man. Believe me.
If they draft, if the Dallas Cowboys somehow draft Caleb Downs, you're gonna see me in this little box right here. My life will change. If you see me in this little box right here, I'm gonna immediately move, and next thing you know, I'm gonna be sitting in your box and be mad at you because they drafted one of my favorite players to that dysfunctional house in Texas.
We're not dysfunctional. We're good.
I'm not going to talk about Caleb Downs at all. I'm tired of people talking to me about my man crush and you're so not. Listen, I'm not talking about Caleb Downs. I'm just waiting to see where he lands, and then I'm gonna probably. I don't do jerseys, but I might get a T-shirt that says Downs. But wherever he goes, he's gonna wreck shop. And regardless of those reports about the degeneration of his knee or all that like that. He's going to wreck shop wherever he goes. I'm just leave it at that.
Yep, coming to a Philly receiver near you, Caleb Downs. He's going to be locked. I'm gonna be praying. I'm gonna be praying that Jerry Jones takes his pills every morning, his dementia pills, and we get this thing rolling. Get this thing rolling. Look, it sucks. I actually have a little belief this year, but like I said, I'm not going to get too excited. Because they're going to disappoint me and talk. They're not going to make no moves. They're going. Well, we like our guys. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear we like our guys. I hate our guys.
He said it in the Jerry Jones voice too. He said it in the Jerry Jones voice too.
We like our guys a lot. And, you got $40 million. You got $40 million, and you got $40 million. You don't know what to do with $40 million. I'm telling you.
We need a 30-day safe period where we don't discuss Jerry Jones, LeBron James, Shedeur Sanders. We just safe.
We don't talk about.
I think you know what? I think we can do it as the year goes on. I think we should do that.
We haven't talked about LeBron. We haven't talked about LeBron. No. He just including him in the
talk about the whole group.
Yeah,
putting them all in
I like that. We'll have our call and we'll say these players are off limits.
Keep in mind, Ramon. Keep in mind when you were here for some of the NBA season. I skipped by the Lakers and he'd bring up, what about LeBron? What about LeBron? I know you remember this.
I'm definitely guilty of
it. We want to give you some love, man.
I want to fight with you.
And you haven't been here for the last couple shows. Daryl, you need to give me some credit. I have been very by the Lakers.
He's been neutral. Hey, he's been almost as neutral as I am about some of my 8 favorite teams in the NFL. I'll give him that. Isaiah's been neutral about the Lakers.
I brought up all the tanking rules.
He's also talked about Luka and his flopping and his crying. He talked about, remember early in the season, beginning of the season, he thought that the coach for the Lakers was going to be the next Hall of Famer. He's backed off of that a little bit.
Nice.
He's backed a little bit off of AR being the world's greatest two guard, number 15 with the headband. He's backed off things a little bit, man.
Isaiah, I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of you, man.
I brought up the tanking stuff. As a Lakers fan, I brought up the tanking rules. I don't, because I love the Lakers, but I don't want the league to be I don't want the league to be utter garbage though. What's the point of being the champions when the league sucks? It's like being it's like being a Dodgers fan.
You see me right now? I feel like a proud parent that he's backed off all of those guys. Oh my.
I'm telling you, man. This is us. This is us.
I'll take a bow. Look, I love my teams, but I've never been unrealistic about them. Especially
yes, you've been unrealistic, bro.
About the Lakers? About the Lakers.
In the beginning you did. Oh my gosh. In the beginning.
He's walked it back. I give it. Listen. Gotta give
you run it back in.
He's walked it back.
Like I've told everybody, I'm probably the most realistic Laker fan you'll meet, I'm probably the most. I probably hate the Cowboys more than I like them, but I have a little belief this year that we can do something. But I'm not going to hold my breath when I say I'm not going to think it's going to happen either, because then they're going to talk about we like our guys and we're just going to hold our money. Like, all right, man. All right, we'll see what happens. But it'll be an interesting free agency. We'll end this off with a little March Madness, and all I got to say is I don't got much to say about March Madness other than this. I don't know why we're having a conversation about why a 31-0 basketball team shouldn't be in the tournament. It makes no sense. I don't know why we're having this conversation. Makes absolutely no sense. No sense.
I don't want to show anger or curse, but if you think that Miami of Ohio,
this isn't college football.
Their conference title game, their conference title in their conference title playoff to be into the NCAA tournament, don't watch our show. If you believe that they've got to win their tournament to be into the NCAA tournament with 68 teams, turn off. Because you're not. I don't know what you are, and we want everybody watching. But if you believe Miami has to win their tournament to get into the tournament, just turn it off, man.
It's a shame
I'm sure there's another show that you can watch.
It's a shame I'm watching the bracketology stuff, and they've got Miami of Ohio sitting over there with the Hoosiers and Auburn. What are we doing? They're 31-0, and people are on here, and people are on social media talking about, well, they barely beat Akron and they're barely beating the conference. It doesn't matter. Everybody's like, well, NIL is going to ruin March Madness and the Cinderella runs. I mean, it doesn't change the fact that the top players are still going to the best teams. They're just getting paid for it. I don't understand.
Listen.
The only difference with NIL and college basketball is players that start at mid-majors or NAIAs are going to eventually get to those upper programs. That's it. But you're still going to have Cinderella runs. They may just not be as frequent. But I still believe that we'll have Cinderella runs. And even if Miami of Ohio loses in the first round, they still deserve to be there because this isn't college football. It doesn't. There's 64 teams. If you don't think they deserve one,
but they try to blend it.
If you don't think there's one, if you don't think they deserve one spot out of 64, come on, man. Just come on.
Seriously? Again, just turn it off. I'm just telling you, because they're ranked in the top 25. So what you're saying is a top 25 ranked team with one loss can't make the tournament. If you're saying that, if you're saying it as a person, turn it off.
They're more deserving than Notre Dame football was this year. Simple as that. Simple as that. I heard Marcus Freeman said the Notre Dame men's basketball team should be in. They should just get an automatic spot. I heard that too. That's what I heard. I heard it's crazy that that Notre Dame's men's basketball isn't in, but that's just Notre Dame. They always need a hand held out. They need their silver spoon. That's Notre Dame for you. But it's okay. It's okay. Notre Dame's already in the tournament because Purdue's in, and Purdue will be. They'll replicate Notre Dame's football team, and they'll lose in the playoffs just like Notre Dame football. So It's all good. It's all good.
Hey, I think what we should do, right? We cover a lot. I think we have about a 2 or 3 minute rant real quick and roll out. Whatever our topics are important. Clearly, your Notre Dame topic was there.
I just like bringing it up.
I like that you bring it up because you give some juice. So why don't you give your rant? Because we could cover
before we rant. I got a quick question. What happens? What happens if Miami of Ohio gets blown out by UMass in the first? No. I'm not saying that they shouldn't be in it. I'm not saying that.
No,
Can you hear if Miami of Ohio gets blown out by UMass in the first round of the MAC, and then they make the tournament and they get blown out in the first round of the tournament? Can you imagine the podcast, the ESPN on Fox, on all this about?
They'll be gloating. I told you so. I told you. See, I told you. Okay, they lost. We expect them to. You know what? We also expect 67 other teams to lose.
We also expect Purdue to get it done every year.
Hey man, why are you picking on Purdue like that, man?
He's trying to take my shine. Don't do that, Isaiah. You know what I told you yesterday. Don't try to take my shine. I see what you're trying to do.
No,
you have your own shine. You do your own hate. Don't mess with my.
I've never been. We hype Purdue up every year. They were number 1 in the AP poll this year, and you know what I did? I went, ugh. Like, it's just not. Come on. Seriously, I mean, we had a coach come on last week or 2 weeks ago, I think, and when he talked about the teams he doesn't buy, the first team he said, Purdue.
Hey, tell you what. Hey, do this. So grab that. It was last week with Coach Wood. Grab it, and I'm gonna just spitball a little bit so we can see that. Let the viewers who are here this week see that, because we've got a hell of a lot more viewers this week. If you can pull that up, Isaiah, while I'm sitting there kind of spitballing a little bit, I'll go on my rant while you get that pulled up.
You know what? I actually buy Purdue.
Okay, good. Go first. Go for it. Go ahead.
Not the championship team.
Poor Ramon.
Not the championship team. I buy them. There's a lot of teams that I buy that I think are very good programs. I don't think they're championship programs. There's a difference. I think that there are good programs and there are championship programs. Like, I don't think Purdue is a championship program for a bunch of different reasons. But I do think they are a good program. Same person that wear cowboy shit.
I don't own a piece of Cowboys clothing right now.
Smart.
I don't own a piece of Cowboys clothing.
Hey, so while you're doing that, I'm gonna take Purdue for last, but I want to talk about the college basketball and players sitting down. We talked about my guy Darren for the longest. We talked about Darren for the longest. Darren Peterson not playing and all that stuff. Mikael Brown, shooting point guard for Louisville, has missed 10 of 22 games for the Louisville Cardinals. He missed yesterday's game with back issues, okay? Enough talking about Darren Peterson. We're seeing these top-end players who are sitting out. You're an 18, 19-year-old guy. Supposedly you can't play because of back spasms. If you're 18 or 19 with back spasms, looking to be a top 15 pick, what are you going to say to that GM or that president of basketball operation when they say, hey, you missed half your games due to what we're told as injuries? What makes you think you're going to be able to stand up to grown men in an 82-game season? I'll wait while you respond. Insert name here. What does Mikael Brown say to that? That's my issue, right?
He points to the guy in Cleveland like he don't play 82 games.
That's my point, right?
You're asking us the Clippers. He points to,
but we're asking you to put in me as a top 15 pick ish, and then here's what we've got. My concern is this. I'm not definitely down on the NIL, and I love it, but let's call it what it is. Some of these guys are trying to protect their brand, and if they feel a little twin, their handlers are saying, you don't have to play if you don't want to. The coaches do no longer have the control that they used to. That's what they're upset about. And that's why I'm going to hit on my NIL rant tonight with me and JB. But to that point, I like Mikael Brown. I think he's a hell of a player. But a guy who's 18, 19 years old saying he's got back spasms, I'm sorry, Ramon, you and I have been 18. It was quite a while ago. I don't remember having back spasms at 18.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
Yourself, man, you old. It's been a long time since you've been 18. I'm surprised
you ain't lying.
That far back.
You got 2 years behind me. No, you try.
Around the corner.
I got the clip pulled up.
So go ahead and share the clip when we talked about the great Purdue Boilermakers.
All right. I don't know about great. They're all right. The standings.
The teams that I don't trust in the NCAA tournament, and this is not me. I like them, just historically.
Be careful, they're gonna call you a hater.
That's okay. I'm not. Purdue loses early every year.
Hold on, wait. Clip that.
Purdue. I'm just saying. Every time I fill out a bracket, I know they're good, but they just seem to lose early every year. But maybe they'll prove me wrong. I look at the teams that,
and I want to preface this because people in our comments,
well, they just made the national championship. They just made the
and what did they do? Just like Notre Dame, what did they do? They lost. I don't hear about the national championship trophy sitting in South Bend or in Fort Wayne. So
they made the national championship. So I don't know what you're talking about. You guys don't know what you're talking about. They made the national championship.
Here's my last piece of Purdue, and then I'm done. Here's my last piece. On this show and other shows as well, all throughout the season, I said Purdue's issue is guard play. I said when you got your best player and Braden Smith as your best player, who's not very athletic, he's 6 foot tall, he's a good shooter, not a great shooter. He's a very good ball handler, not a great ball handler, right? I'm talking about Kyrie Irving handle ball great. When I say great, that's what I'm talking about. When he's your best player, and he's devoid of defensive, on the defensive end, you're going to struggle. Yesterday, Wisconsin guards shot over almost 60% from the field against Purdue. Yeah, it was a close game. You can say, they missed those free throws at the end. So Purdue's Achilles heel are teams with great guard play. Wisconsin had great guard play yesterday, and that's what propelled them to the win. Yeah, there were big shots by the forward, but those guards, they really lit up the Purdue Boilermakers backcourt, and that made it happen for them. And again, I know I said they were going to be a Sweet 16 team, but the way they look, depending on the matchup, they may lose in the first or second round. And I'll leave it at that.
There you go. Ramon, anything you want to rant on that we have not brought up today? Or we have brought up?
First round record, 12. It's the NCAA tournament. First round record, 12-4. Sweet 16, 8 times. Elite 8 twice. Final 4 once. 16 appearances. Total record, 24-16, which is a 600 winning percentage. This is why I like Purdue for who they are. Those numbers are pretty darn good. They're not elite. I think sometimes, and I think some of Scott's frustration is there are so many people that want to make Purdue an elite program. They're not an elite program. They're a decent program. They're a good program, but they're not an elite program. And then when you start putting them high in your brackets and you think they should win a championship, they're not those guys. They're not them blue bloods. They're a pretty good program that's going to have some good runs at times, some bad runs at times, but you're never going to probably ever buy a t-shirt to say national champion on it. No way it's too soon to let some different things change as far as in their recruiting practices and the type of kid that they get in that school, but the numbers speak for themselves. Like, they're a pretty decent program. They're just not a great program.
Yeah.
What are the challenges? They start the season at number 1, right? And that really made a lot of people inflated, right? It made a lot of thought process inflated. But as we've seen, remember they beat Bama early in the season. They had a great run in the early parts. It's great, wonderful. Don't get me wrong,
wonderful.
But as I said, as a competition has gotten better, their flaws have been exposed more, and their flaws in that backcourt, and they're not a very athletic team. I know my boy Reggie goes, "Oh, you're just hating because you don't like Purdue." No, I don't like Purdue, but I'm also responsible enough to say the truth about them.
Yeah.
And I like Indiana. But guess what? They're not athletic enough. Their bigs aren't nearly as good enough. They're going to struggle even if they do make the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's just the truth.
Well, I'm going to read this off.
Purdue's not the team that many of their Purdue lovers think they are. They just aren't.
We're bringing up stats. I'm going to bring this up. Notre Dame in 2012, 12-1. Notre Dame in 2013, 9-4. 2014, 8-5. 2015, 10-3. 2017, 10-3. 2018, 12-1. 2019, 11-2. 2020, 10-2. 2021, 11-2. 2023, 10-3. 2024, 14-2. Man, great. Oh my goodness. And then we get to the 2018 Cotton Bowl. They lose 30-3. 2020 Rose Bowl, 31-14. National Championship in 2013, 42-14. Oh. I don't know, man. They just seem to co-align so well. So well.
Notre Dame is a good football program, man. It is. Yeah. It's not a great football program.
Good.
They're not a great but honestly, there's only a couple of great football programs. We try to disguise and act like there's a bunch of them.
Yeah.
If you're not going to, and let's look at over the 10-year, 20-year, 30-year trajectory. We can't say just this year. If it's not an Alabama, if it's not an Ohio State, Clemson kind of fell out of that, Yeah. Everybody Florida, about the same.
Georgia, LSU, Michigan. You got some teams
Yeah. Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia. And then it's the rest of them guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's okay to be good.
You got that upper echelon. You got that upper echelon.
Everybody ain't great.
You got that upper echelon, right? That you just named, and then there's the outlier that is IU, and then there's everybody else.
I mean, I can't even put IU in this conversation, man. They had a great year, man. Superb.
Yeah, you got to sustain. You got to sustain.
But you got to show me, man. We keep talking about people like Kirk Cignetti's pretty damn good football coach, and he's won a national championship now. Man, Kirby Smart didn't won how many?
No, well, that's what I said. I said you got your upper echelon, and then I think IU's just such an outlier for what they did. That I'm not saying they're. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying it's very much of an outlier, right?
And I hope they can sustain some greatness.
I do too.
I don't see this season that they had last year being replicated. I don't see that.
I'm just saying
that dude is so good.
I just think it's an outlier from a lot of things. I don't remember the last time we saw a team with that, talent wise, not a lot of fire. Just it's an outlier. That's all I'm really saying.
See, I don't buy into that 5-star jump because this is why I don't buy into it. Like
Kurt doesn't either, by the way.
Who?
Kurt doesn't either.
Because if you're a 3-star kid in 2000 and you work your butt off, or in 2020 you're a 3-star kid. By 2025, if you've stayed in school for them 5 years and you worked your butt off and you got a great strength and conditioning program and a good coach, man, you're a better player than a 5-star just coming into college or only been there 2 years. That 4 or 5 years in a program, and now with some of these kids 6 or 7 years in the program, changes those stars dramatically. That star rating is who you were when you were a senior in high school. It's not who you were, who you are 3 to 4 or 5 years into college.
Yeah, great points. Really good show today, Ramon. Once again,
housekeeping.
So happy to have you back. Yes, we want to give a big thank you to our 3 sponsors: Matt Gaddis of State Farm, Wired to the Nines, and Big Z's Sports Grill. Big thank you to that. A little bit of a promotion this Tuesday, debut episode. Oh, I didn't mean to get you guys off the screen. I apologize. I got to add you guys. I don't know why I did that. There we go. Our debut episode of Side by Side, coming just a little preview of the graphics for that show on Tuesday. Make sure you guys check that out on Tuesday. Bias with a Little Truth will be back this week as well. Folks, thank you guys for watching the show. It's going to be a great episode of Side by Side. We're going to be talking NASCAR. We're going to be talking IndyCar. We're going to be talking Formula One. We're going to be talking some racing on Tuesday. Won't be a live show.
Boogity.
There you go. Thank you. Shout out to Daryl Waltrip. It'll be a great show. I will be doing that with Brandon Reef over at Crossroads Sports. It'll be uploaded on both channels. It'll be about a 20-30 minute recorded episode. Should be a lot of fun. Ramon, welcome back. OH.
IO.
There you go. It's going to be great.
Hey, real quick. Hey, if you all want to listen to some really good Indiana Pacer talk and history of ABA, I had to sit down with Mark Monteith this past week. Please take a look at it. You're talking about a dude who knows everything about the state of Indiana and sports-wise. Mark Monteith was a great conversation. That was part 2. He's committed to part 4, 5, 6, and 7, but it was a good conversation. We also spoke about Lou Holtz. He covered the Catholics versus Convicts game back in 87, 88, which was great conversation as well. So take a look, see up there at that conversation. It was really good.
Thank you guys for 300 subs. We're at 304 right now, but big thank you for 300. The road to 500 it begins. I mean, we are getting close. I guess we're technically on the road to 400, but we're gaining on 500 pretty fast. Big thank you to everyone that supported us, whether that's a sponsor or you guys, the viewers. We got more content. We're adding more content. Feels like week by week, but we've got plenty of shows coming for you this week along with clips. So that's going to do it for this episode of Game Time Live. We'll see you guys next Sunday, but we will see you guys later tonight for Cross Time College Basketball. That's going to do it. You're watching Game Time Live on the Game Time Network. See you guys soon.